Hey everyone, we just got done going through a confined space course here at Watertown. We had 8 members of Watertown Fire Rescue going through this course. We got Cameron Mack here. Could you tell us a little bit about what a confined space is and why we would need this course?
Yeah. A confined space is basically any space that, as defined by OSHA, would be large enough for somebody to enter the space and do work in, and it's also not made for continuous human occupancy and has limited means of entry or egress. So the reason we'd be going through that here at the Watertown Fire Department is there's been a large number of incidents in the past where not only have the workers or patients, whatever you want to call them, been injured, but also the rescuers as well. In fact, rescuers count for a higher number of fatalities and injuries than the actual victims do. So it's very important to us here at Watertown Fire that if we're called on in our community, that we are well prepared to come handle that situation.
So we had a 3-day course of confined space. Could you tell us a little bit on how it was structured?
Yeah, confined space is broken up basically into 3 unique different kind of classes we have to train people on. It's got a hazmat component, it's also got a rope rescue component, and then it has the confined space specific techniques as well. Day 1 we kind of went over that hazmat side of things. We started off by teaching the students about the standards and regulations that pertain to confined space rescue. Then we broke it down into the hazards and kind of stepped it up from there. So the hazards might include engulfment or toxic atmosphere. Next we went into the Watertown Fire Department's monitors that we use for testing air samples. We use some of the ones that we carry on the truck every day and some of the more advanced ones. Then once we've determined that we do have a hazard in a confined space, we have to teach the students how to actually control that hazard. So some of the means we might do that with would be ventilation. So we talked about ventilation and some of the theory behind that, ways to ventilate spaces that might have contaminants that are heavier or lighter than air. We also talked about mitigating hazards that might be mechanical with using lockout, tagout, things such as that. After that, we talked about the PPE that we use. We had the students put on chemical protective clothing, flash protective clothing, as well as getting into kind of our special confined space respiratory protection that we call our SAR and comms box. It's just designed for a rescuer to go in and maintain an air supply without having to come back out every half an hour. And they're also able to fit into tighter profile spaces as well. That was kind of our main goal, is to get our students very comfortable using those 2 things, our comms and SAR box. Day 2, then we went into the rope rescue side of things. Rope rescue is a prerequisite to get into the confined space course. We went over mechanical advantage systems for hauling people out of vertical openings, as well as our tripod use. Tripod is a good piece of equipment to get somebody out of a manhole covering style entrance or egress. And so we spent a lot of time familiarizing ourselves with that, as well as with our patient packaging devices that are more specific for confined space.
So on day 3, they had 2 scenarios they had to do. They had a vertical and a horizontal. Could you tell us a little bit on what the students went through and then how Watertown would respond to one of those?
Well, yeah, we were able to procure 2 sites. We were able to go to Grace Lutheran Church in the morning scenario. That was our horizontal entry. We were able to use the crawl space underneath the church to go rescue a practice dummy, and it worked out extremely well. The afternoon, we were able to go out to Interstate Trucking behind Sharp's Automotive and to practice our vertical style rescue there. We just can't say enough about how useful that is for us to go out on these actual places where something might actually happen. Everything's just theoretical when we're here at our training grounds. Out in the real world, we don't necessarily have polished concrete to drag a victim on, and we don't necessarily have pre-engineered anchors to tie our ropes to. So just getting out there and having that practical hands-on skill is extremely beneficial to us. So we can't thank both of those locations enough. As well as the students who were able to participate in the class. They were a great group of students. They were really who made the class, and I think Watertown can look forward to having them serving their community. So we can't thank you enough.
Well, thank you for talking about the course, and thank you for watching.
All right, good.